The relationships that we have in life are everything. I mean, I think Tony Robbins has the quote that says, the quality of your life is the quality of the relationships that you have. And if we think about the most important relationship that we have in life, some people will say that's the relationship with yourself. Some people will say that's the relationship with your God or your religion. And those are absolutely valid. But if we think about the relationship that we have every single day of our life, that means more than anything. It's the relationship that we have with our partner. It's the relationship that we have with our significant other. And we don't talk nearly enough about the power of relationships and what it means for your business, what it means for your career. If you're having a hard home life, it's going to be that much more difficult to go to work that day. It's going to be that much more difficult to launch a product or to speak with your customers or have your social media strategy on lock, because the most important part of your life is in turmoil. And we want to help you with that. We want to help you to better communicate with your significant other. We want to help you strengthen that bond and strengthen that connection with the one that you love most in your life. And if you're watching this just because you love watching the show and you're not with a significant other, but you're thinking, I want a significant other in my life, then this conversation is going to help you too. We are speaking with relationship expert Diana Indries today, all the way from Romania. And before we get started, you know the fee for the broadcast. We don't run ads. We don't have sponsors. We don't do any of that because we don't want to interrupt your experience here. All that we ask is help us grow the way that you've helped us grow over the past year. When you take away one piece of information, or if we make you laugh, we make you smile, we make you think in a different way, then share the show with just one other person who could also use what we talk about today. Because today we're talking all about how to improve communication with your partner. We are here with Diana Indries. And for those who don't know Diana has helped thousands of couples in over 100 different countries improve their relationship and communicate more effectively with their Better Topics card game for couples. Better Topics is a game which encourages couples to have those much needed, deep conversations, but with the fun and the lightheartedness of a game. So Diana, it is a pleasure to have you here all the way from Romania in your new house. Congratulations.
Hi, Brendan. Thank you so much for having me on today. I am so very happy and excited also because this is the very first interview from our brand new house.
Yay. Awesome. That's so exciting. Yeah. Everyone, she kind of gave me a little tour of the living room and the cool piano she's got to the side of her. And it's super cool because she's like, I feel so at peace. And it's like we're on vacation every time we come home now, which is super cool. And that's important in your life, but a significant other who you can connect with and have great conversations with and really go deep with is so super important. And we haven't had anyone come on the show, no relationship experts on the show yet. So you're the first one out of like 188 episodes. And if that tells you one thing, it's that we need to have more of that on the show. But guys, let me tell you something. I don't normally talk about the product at the very beginning of the broadcast, but I personally own this. Diana didn't just send it to me. I actually went on, I bought the Better Topics card game. And what I love about this game, Diana, so I got it about a month ago. My wife and I played it once, and we were going to watch another episode of Netflix. And we're like, you know what? Let's play the game that we just got in the mail. So we opened it up, and it was really cool. We spent about 30 minutes playing the game. We played it a few times, and she beat me both times, actually. And she's like, I'll compromise. I mean, if you win the game, by the way, I think there might be more prizes, but I think the main prize is you do something nice for the other person, right? You make them feel special. You make them feel appreciative. And she won, of course, like she does at many things. And I remember, and I had to think now, okay, I have to surprise her with a gift. I think, if you win, correct me if I'm wrong, if you win, like you can choose what you want the other person to do, right? Like, I think one was like a massage, go to a restaurant, get them like a gift. Am I correct in saying that?
So the game actually has its own rewards deck. So there are many things that you can actually do for your partner or together with your partner. And it really depends which one they draw out. The way I play with my husband is that we face all the rewards face down. And then I just pick 3 of them, if I'm the winner. And then I will choose one out of those 3. Otherwise, I will just go to my personal favorite one, which is whatever I want, whenever I want.
I love that one. I do remember us doing that now that you say that. And she chose surprise me with something special or surprise me with a
Hmm.
gift. So I had to think and I was like, oh my God, what is something that she's been talking about that she wants? And I remember we were passing through Target, which is one of the big retail stores where we live.
Hmm.
We we always pass the Fuji film, those little cameras with the traditional
Hmm.
reels that come out. And I was like, I'm gonna go get her a Fujifilm camera. Not that you have to buy something, but I was like, I'm just gonna do that. And because I know it'll be special. And I surprised her with it. And that feeling of gifting her with a gift when it wasn't her birthday, it wasn't her anniversary, it wasn't just, an event that you have to get a gift for. It really made my day, but it certainly made her day. And I thought of you and I was like, it's
Exactly.
super cool how this little game helped us to
Exactly.
create several moments of joy in the course of like a couple weeks. So I thank you for that.
You're very welcome. And I'm so happy that, you got to live that, because this is exactly what we want to help couples with, to get to a point where they do this type of things without the other person having to ask for it, or without the partner having to go through frustration in order to get to a point where, okay, now I have to do something for them because otherwise we'll end up arguing again, because I view a relationship as a partnership. We both have to do things for the relationship to work. But, those things don't have to be tedious anymore. We don't have to all just lay down on a couch and talk about our feelings all day and, go through all of those things in order to have a great relationship. Because having, this amazing, great relationship that we see in TV sometimes, and unfortunately, we see that quite rarely, because those usually don't really make a good story unless the partners are together for like 50, 60, 70, 100 years, otherwise it's not a big bang to it. So people don't really pay that much attention to it, but there are so many relationships that they're where the partners are still happy 30 years in, 35 years married, 50 years married, and they are still happily married after all that time. And how do they do it? By constantly paying attention to each other, and by investing time into the small things, small things like even a kiss every day, let's say, or just being attentive to when is our partner going through like a rough situation and they actually need us there, not necessarily to solve their problems, but even just to be there and for them to feel that they are supported in whatever they're going through, and basically, if we are not in this, if we don't invest in this great partnership that we have, with our life partner, then with who? If we don't trust them, then who can we trust them? Who can we trust actually? So, this is why, because I personally, had few failed relationships, and that was the trigger point that actually led me to educate myself more on relationships, because we go through life and people just expect us to know how to be in a relationship. They expect us to know everything. Like, I remember my first relationships, I had no idea what I'm doing. I just tried to, look to my left, to my right, to see other relationships, what were they doing, and then try to understand, would I like that? Would I, and how could I do that in my relationship? And many of them failed, and then at some point I was like, okay, this is clearly not working, because I had few failed relationships, and the only common point in them, it was me.
Hmm.
I was like, the partners themselves were very, very different one from another. And I was like, okay, if I am the only common element in all these relationships, then clearly I need to change. So I had to own up to that. I had to realize that although it might sound painful in the beginning, I was like, well, at least I can change myself.
Yeah.
So that's when I started educating myself on that. And the more I read, the more courses I went to, the more psychologists I listened to, I realized that there are a few common points. And most of those are, to do something small every day for your partner and to show them love in a way or another. And, if you want to have it slightly easier, you can read more into the 5 love languages, which I think it's a brilliant book that was such an eye opening to me. And it made me understand so much from my previous relationships and my current one as well. And it also kind of gave me a sort of blueprint, of what is it exactly that I need to do, and what are sort of not necessarily shortcuts, but easier things that I can do straight away when maybe I didn't have enough time to prepare beforehand, But then I always go to something that is, for example, my partner's main love language, which is quality time. So I know that if we do something that he sees as quality time together, he will be quite happy with that, even if maybe that week I didn't have time to think ahead of a surprise or something like that. And the same is true for him as well. He knows my main language is physical touch, so he knows that even if he doesn't bring me flowers every day or every other day, that's fine, as long as I get my physical touch every day. I'm okay with that. All is good. So um, keeping up a relationship, it does involve some work, but
Mm-hmm.
that work doesn't have to be tedious anymore. Not
Yeah.
everyone has to go through all the courses and books I went through, to get to this point where I am now, having this great relationship. But they can still, do things playfully. For example, playing a game like Better Topics that guides them to have these important conversations, because without those, we don't really even know exactly what to do, because those questions guide us towards finding out more about our partner, about ourselves. And when are those key moments when we definitely have to be there for them? When do they want a bit more space from us and all of that? And also, what is it that they like to do? And with the rewards, we get that prompt, to actually do something for them, or even together with them, because some of them are just for them exclusively, like the 20-minute foot massage, or some of them are for the partners to do together, like we go to a restaurant together, or we watch a movie together, or a lot of things like that.
Yeah, no, I love the game. I just opened it up because I want to refamiliarize myself with the different things. So I've got the reward cards here. I've got the modifiers where you can like cancel the question, and
Yes.
there's custom cards. I mean, there's a lot in this, and it comes with obviously directions and stuff. It's very different than any game that we've really played. Although I think if anything, if I had to compare this to any other game that we've played, it has nothing to do with relationships. But Uno. It reminds me a little bit of Uno in that
Yes.
sense, which I liked because it was familiar to me. So I didn't have to completely like relearn something new. Although
Mm-hmm.
you include all the information people need to know. But what I loved about what you said, I loved a lot about what you said there because I relate to you on many different fronts. The working on yourself and learning and investing in you that you could then bring those skills to a relationship. But also what you said with it's about the small things every single day. And a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people get into a relationship, and I feel that we carry, and obviously this can go as deep as we'd want it to, but we carry traits from our own parents or our own
Yeah,
childhood, whether
definitely.
we grew up with our parents, we grew up with someone else. Like we watch that model of things.
Mm-hmm.
But if you grow up and your parent was a single mother or a single father, and you didn't really get to see that affection, then you bring that forward into your next relationship. Like if physical touch is your love language, but you never saw your parent or your caregiver ever display that, or you never watched films with that, or you never were
Mm,
exposed to that, then it's almost like you have to reprogram yourself later in life. And I think for those who are listening
exactly.
who are saying, I just can't get a relationship to work for me. And for even the people who've said, and I love how you took responsibility saying, the one thing that was a constant was me. And I can't change all my different partners. All I can do is work on me. The one message I have for people listening is you can work on you and you can improve.
Yes,
And just because the relationships in your past haven't worked, or even if the relationship that you're in right now is struggling,
exactly.
it doesn't mean that you can't repair that bond with the other person. It doesn't mean that the next one won't be the relationship that makes up for all the learning and experiences that you've had in the past ones.
Exactly.
And we talk on the show a lot about the personal growth and the self-development, but when you place the attention on the other person from a place of inspiration versus desperation,
Mm-hmm.
that's when growth in the relationship can really occur. Because I see a lot of people, even in my own life, I see, in friends and even some family members, they're roommates with their significant other. Like when
Exactly.
they're out at parties, they keep their space, like even a little space. You can still feel the vibe of, okay, these people aren't sensual. These people aren't intimate with each other. They're not affectionate. You know, they won't even do like a little peck in public. They won't kiss
Yes.
in public, anything like that. And I'm not saying like go crazy into the PDA, but I've been with my wife now for over 10 years. And we both come from families who my mom and dad are still together, her mom and dad are still together. So we got to see a variety of different things, but we also have parts of our family that aren't. But we're very blessed from coming from families that we've come from. But I know that's not the case with everyone else. And the whole point of what I'm saying here is take these small actions each day now, coming from a place of inspiration, before you have to take these actions, coming from a place of, I haven't shown my partner the attention they deserve, and now I have to in order to keep this relationship afloat. See what I'm
Exactly,
saying?
exactly. But before people get to that point, I would just want to urge them to really get clear on exactly what they want. Because
Mm,
this is the drive in anything you want in life, basically in your career, in business, and why not in relationships as well, you know? Because we are not taught to actually set goals and milestones as well in our relationships, you know? And this, I think we should start from there, you know, first get clear what is it that you want to experience in your relationship, how would you want it to look, you know. Let's assume you can choose anything you want and that will be given to you. What would it be? You know, you have freedom really to write anything that you want on that list. And once you got clear exactly what is that you want, then you can actually start to make a plan and work towards that, you know. In my case, when I actually got this knowledge, I was by myself, you know, I wasn't in a relationship yet, but I said, okay, what if I can choose any partner that I want? How would that person even look like? And what would I actually want to live in that relationship? And that's when I sat down with myself and I was like, okay, let me just put this on a piece of paper, because everyone, you know, all the teachers tell you to write it down. Just because you know it in your head, it doesn't mean that it's actually true. But once you start writing it down, it becomes more real.
mm-hmm.
And I didn't understand this at first because I said, well, I kind of know what I want. I wanted like three, four main things, like for them not to be obviously crazy, you know,
You know what you
for
didn't want to, right?
exactly. I wanted someone who has a stable job and can, you know, support themselves, so I don't have to support them. Because for me personally, that was an important thing. You know, for others, it's not. If for you is not an important thing, then don't put it on the list. For me, it was mainly because I took so much pride in what I was doing, and I wanted to be with someone who took equally pride in what they were doing. You know, outside of the relationship. And I wanted someone, you know, slightly taller than me, which normally is not too difficult because I'm like 5'3". So, you know, I was like, okay, there. So, you know, I had like three main categories, three main things that I wanted from a partner for years. These were the only three, you know. And I was having this conversation with my mom as well. I'm like, is it so difficult to find someone who has only these three? Like, you know, how difficult can it be? But, you know, years later, few relationships failed later. I was like, it's more difficult than I thought.
Mm-hmm.
But then, you know, I going through, you know, a lot of studying and everything, I thought, okay, what if I can write a detailed list of everything I want? And I started writing, and halfway through my list, I stopped myself and I was like, I don't want to be too greedy. I don't want to limit, you know, the universe or God or whoever will produce this person, you know, in
Yeah.
my life. I didn't want to be too, you know, selective so they don't find it. I was like, I wanted to have my choices quite broad. But then I was like, okay, let's see exactly what I would want. And if I meet someone who will meet at least 75% of these things, you know, I'll be happy with that. I'm okay to, you know, negotiate on a few of the things. And I wrote my list. And 2 months later, I've actually met Robert, who is now my husband. And interestingly enough, when we were going to our dating phase, I've discovered that he actually had all of my 21 points, literally each one of them,
Wow.
even down to the point that he can dance. And it was so funny when I discussed that with him, because the summer before we've met, he actually took some dance classes, which was just funny because it was literally in the nick of time. And I was like, thank God you did, because otherwise we might have not met.
It's like it's well, congratulations on finding him, and congratulations on really determining what you want. Because I
Yes.
remember I sat down with a friend a few years ago at Panera, which is a restaurant chain over here in the United States. And he had a lot of failed relationships in his past, and sweet guy. He had a lot of things he enjoyed doing. He wanted someone who enjoyed those same things, but he didn't really have a list of the different things that he was looking for. And I sat down with him and I said, well, when's the last time you've really defined what it is and who it is you want? And he's like, well, I never really thought about it that way. I've always been with different types of people, which is cool
Exactly.
because then you get to see really what you don't like, what you do like. It's hard to even
Exactly.
determine what you want if you've never been with
Yes.
someone in your life. So we sat down and I said, let's do it right now. And he's like, dude, we're eating lunch. And I'm like, no, really, like, let's go on your phone notes right now. And then later I want you to actually take a pen and paper and write it down. Cause like you said,
Yes.
it does something special when you actually put something down on paper. And he wrote down exactly what this person looks like. He wrote down their interests. He wrote down personality traits. He wrote down different things that he'd want to do with the person, like what you wrote down with him about dancing.
Yes.
And it's crazy because literally a few weeks later, he found somebody who fit most of these traits. And I don't think it worked out in the long term, but it provided him another experience that he got to enjoy. And
Exactly.
it helped him to become more clear of what he was looking for. And it's the same thing for any part of our life, right? With our career,
Yes.
our job, like determining what you want and writing it down and creating a goal for it, you train your brain to look for specific things. But depending on
Exactly.
how far you want to take it, I mean, like you said with your husband, he took dance classes the summer before. Who knows what inspired him to take those dance classes? Maybe it was like
Exactly.
an instinctual urge of, maybe I should do this thing. It's almost like there's someone above or something all around that's determining what next steps of our life are going to look like, that show us different things that we wouldn't have seen before. Like even if you're on a dating app, as an example, cool. Now you know what people you actually want to engage with. You've got 10 conversations
Exactly.
going in the DMs. Okay, well, does this person fit these attributes? No. Okay, move on to the next. It gives you focus on what it is to look
Exactly.
for. And it's a lot easier to work these principles with better topics and having effective communications with someone who actually fits the boxes of what you're looking for in a
Exactly.
relationship.
And not just that, but it cuts down the time you waste with the wrong people, basically,
Yeah.
because for example, I wasted few years being in the wrong relationships, you know, whereas if I would have had my list, maybe I would have cut that short.
Yeah.
Because, for example, in my personal situation with my husband, we actually grew up in the same city. We've never met, and it's not too big. Our city, is literally not too big. It's like
Wow.
maybe, I don't know, 500,000 people around here.
Yeah.
I don't know. And we went to different high schools, but in the same city. We went to the same university, but different faculties. And as students, especially, we kind of tend to go out and hang out in the same places. We've never met. We've never had friends in common. Nothing. We were like literally living parallel lives. And
Yes.
then at some point, years later, so after university, I moved to the UK, and he actually moved to Mexico. And it was like 6 years later that I came back to my hometown because I was going to my cousin's wedding, and he was home visiting his family over the summer. And that was when our paths actually crossed, basically. And it was like a couple of months after I wrote my list. And the most interesting thing about this story is the fact that he had his own list. Because when we've met and we started, dating, and we decided to be together, I kept telling him that he's everything I wanted and more, because he was literally everything I had on my list. And I've also noticed a lot of really good traits that he had that I never even thought of including on my list, but I appreciate him having them. And when I told him actually why I used this phrase with him, he started laughing. He's like, okay, let me show you my list. And although mine was like 21 bullet points, his was a 7-page essay
Come
with
on.
like 36 points. I'm not even joking.
Wow.
And the creepiest, because it also it is to a point almost creepy if you think about it, all the details, because we have so many similarities in our lives. It's strange even. So when I read his list, I was literally having like tingly sensations, because he described me to the smallest detail, and I'm not even joking. It was like reading a report written by someone who knew me all my life.
Oh
So
my
he
God.
was nailing down details like dark hair and green eyes, which I have. Rough height, which I kind of have because he likes like shorter people, because he's like 6'1" or something.
Uh-huh.
um, And even down to the languages that we speak, because we speak three of the same languages, so I can
Wow.
communicate with both sides of his family, and he can communicate with mine as well. Even how I would react in certain situations. He would literally describe, like, if this situation comes up, then the reaction would be something aligned of this and this. She would say something like this and this, and when I read that, I was like, oh my god, that's exactly what I would do or say in that type of situation. And it was so strange to see that. And still, like, this month, actually, in May, we have 4 years from our wedding.
Wow.
And still to this day, we love to tell the story about the list to inspire people to get exactly clear on what they want in life. Because once you do that, as you very nicely said, everything gets cleared away and you get very focused,
Hmm.
and you don't lose time with the wrong people anymore. You bypass that. You just go straight to the people that actually help you achieve those feelings and emotions and everything that you want, that you've written on your list and you've got clear about. And again, I mean, I could go on and on about this. In our relationship, me with my husband, we have so many similarities. Like, we are the youngest ones in our family. We both have older brothers. Our brothers have exactly the same type of personality, which is strange.
Yeah.
They even went to the same university and same faculty, our older brothers, which was funny, because when he was describing me his brother, how he is, how they interact with each other, and I was thinking, oh my god, he literally sounds like he's describing my own brother.
Yeah.
And I just asked him, like, what did your brother study? And he told me, and I just started laughing, and I'm like, no, I'm like, my brother as well. So it was so strange. Our parents as well, they literally have the same type of personalities. Both our fathers are very academic, very laid back, very calm, and our mothers are the very strong personality type women with initiative. They do everything. Anything that needs sorting, they'll be the one to help you out. So all of these things, once we've put them together, they all made sense to us. But
Yeah.
still, we lived for so long in parallel lives until at one point our paths met.
Yeah.
And we both think that we had to have our own experiences and to have our own lessons in life and our own feelings, and get clear on exactly what we want before we were actually able to meet.
That's right.
And once we have, because we both had clear relationships, we both have this drive to make our next relationship great. We are working on it constantly. We are planning constantly our calendars. We have planned, even from our dating time, we have planned a weekly date night, which
That's
we
great.
still have to this day. The only thing that changed is the day in the week when we have it. We changed that over the years from a Thursday to a Tuesday, and just this week actually we changed it to a Wednesday. But that was only to accommodate our schedules and to make it more enjoyable for us too.
Yeah.
But we're still keeping that. Even now, physically, that we're in the process of moving to a new house, we are still keeping our date night to do
Yes.
things together that is not related to anything else but our own relationship. And
Yeah.
this is the thing, because we've basically created better topics for couples like us who are busy with everything. You have careers, you have family, some maybe might have kids as well. They will definitely be busy with that as well. But you need to have that special dedicated time for you and your partner if
Yeah.
you truly want to make a relationship work. If you're not the type of person who just lays back and, okay, now you're just waiting for the relationship to happen by itself, which, let me break it to you, fast forward few years, it won't.
Yes.
That never happens if you don't work on it. Because
Yes.
the two people in a relationship, they are individuals at the end of the day with different aspirations, different wants and needs. And a relationship itself, it's quite organic by nature. So if you don't take care of it and grow it, it will die a slow and
Hmm.
many times quite painful death, that might take years. But as you said, you might end up in a relationship where the partners are just roommates, and that's the type of relationship I definitely did not want to end up in.
Yeah.
I, even to this day, because I still love my husband very much. Even to this day, I'm so grateful every day when I wake up and I see him there, that I've got to find this amazing person that I can have this great relationship with. I know he's there. I know I can rely on him. He's everything I want in a relationship. I'm everything he wants in a relationship, and we just gel together so well. And I honestly just feel sorry for all those people who are stuck in relationships where they don't feel that, you know?
Yes.
And that's what I want to help them bring back in the relationships, because they can. You know, it's not always the case of, okay, I need to find a different partner and, start over.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you start a new relationship with the same mentality that you had in your previous one, well,
Mm-hmm.
guess what? You will end up in the same place. So
Yes.
the very first thing that you can start working on, whether you're in a relationship or not, is yourself and your own mentality about what a good relationship is for you, what is a good relationship in your view, and a good partner, and what can you do to support your relationship, your partner, your bond, your team, basically, And with the better topics, first of all, we wanted to, give couples guiding questions, to start
Mm-hmm.
the conversation. Because I'm sure you've seen this. No question, you cannot answer any of the questions with a yes or no answer. It's
Correct.
always more broad than that. You have to give a full answer. And
Yep.
then you have the modifiers that come in and either, turn it into a playful thing like cancel the question or reverse it, or you get the additional questions like with whom, how did you react to that, and the other relevant questions, just to continue the conversation, to
There's
expand
even
it.
like cards that say like tell me more, like go deeper into
Exactly.
that, and it's like, oh, come on, I think like one of the big things is people want to have these hard conversations that have to happen sometimes out of a place of
Mm-hmm.
desperation, which is even worse. And then they either the girl goes to the guy or the guy goes to the guy or whatever it is, and they say, well, I want to ask you about this, and the person says, oh, I don't want to talk about that right now. It's been a long day. Like even before we played this, like my wife was like, it's been a long day. And I was like, it's been a long day for me too, but we got to play the game. And we sat down, and it was a long day, but we were going to watch another Netflix episode.
Mm.
We were going to do another time suck that doesn't require our mental focus. So we instead decided to play. And I loved how you can't just say to one of the cards, oh, I don't want to answer that right now. Let's go to the next card. It's like, no, we're going to answer the question on this card. And the cool thing is you get to choose based on what you have in your hand, what answer the person is going to ask. And
Yes.
there's like rules, who goes first, who goes next. You can, like you
Mm-hmm.
said, reverse it, the modifiers, all those things. I love a lot of what you said. And I think one thing I just want to touch on here is the idea of the weekly date night. And you set it in stone, almost like it might even be in your calendar. I don't. Do you keep that in your calendar? Is this something that you
Yes.
just keep? Okay, so it's literally in your calendar.
It's literally when we started dating, I had a corporate job. I was like having a 9 to 5 type of job. For me, it was quite easy to keep that afternoon off. But my husband, who's a workaholic, he works all sorts of hours. So we actually had to put it in his calendar, which at first, for me as well seemed quite strange. And I was like, why do we have to put that in a calendar? Where's the passion in it?
Yeah.
But then when I started thinking about it, it made so much sense to me, because we expect to be driven by passion so many times, but then we have the long days, we have the stresses at work, we have other stresses in life, and date night, if we don't schedule it and we don't put it in our calendar, gets missed so easily. But once it's there, you cannot miss it. You cannot say, oh, I forgot about it, because it is in your calendar. And the best thing about it is that when it's going to happen, and you can actually prepare for it, which is amazing,
Yes.
or is something to look forward to. And this is why we've actually put it for an afternoon during the week and not left it for the weekend, because in the weekend we have other things, family, friends, you name it.
Mm-hmm.
But during the week we wanted to have something to look forward to, and date
Yeah.
night is that break in the middle of the week, which is just the two of us. We get to do something fun together, and then we can continue our rest of the week to the weekend, where again, if we do something just the two of us in the weekend, that's like a bonus. If not, we'll go and see our friends or family, or do something out of the house or things like that. But we had our date night. We had that check-in moment with each other, with our team member, basically.
Yeah.
And we know where we stand with each other, we know we're there, and we can tackle anything ahead of us, because we are there for each other, we do it together, because this is what a relationship should be, like a good tight-knit team, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Well, if you
So,
think about a high level career, even you have
yes.
your conference calls in your calendar, you've got the important meetings in your calendar.
Mm,
Why would you put more focus and attention and care and joy and passion into your career than you do into the thing that allows the career to keep moving, which is the relationship? And I
exactly.
understand if people might hear that and this is alien to them, and they might even say like what you just said, well, there's no passion in putting it in the calendar. Well, the passion's not in the calendar. The passion's in the experience that has only
Exactly.
happened because you were intentional and committed to making it happen on a specific date at a specific time. The passion's not in the calendar. The passion is in the experience itself.
Exactly. And if anyone comes and says, "Oh no, I just want these things to happen randomly," they are literally not realistic.
Yeah.
Because although those things might happen in when you're like in your teens and adolescents and you're still in school and you have sort of a set-ish schedule and a lot more freedom, that might make sense. But once you're an adult and you have a job and responsibilities, and then kids come along and then other things come along, that's just not realistic. So, yes, we're still romantic with each other all the time, and even on date night and things like that. And it makes our life so much easier if we know when that will happen,
Yeah.
because then it takes away all that pressure of, is my partner now expecting me to do something? Should I do something? Should I not do something? Is now the
Yes.
right time? Is it not the right time? What should I do? And then all of that just creates more questions, more problems, and a lot more confusion on both
Yes.
sides. But if you
Absolutely.
just put it in the calendar, that's our set date night. You let everyone else know, like, even our parents and everyone, it took them a bit of while to actually understand and accept that our date night is just for the two of us. We are not going to change that unless someone is literally dying or very seriously injured.
Yeah.
But they know not to even call us because we're not going to answer most likely. And if it's something urgent, they will definitely text us like, hey, just pick up because it is urgent. But otherwise, that is our set protected time, when we can get to go in our own bubble and do whatever we want, whether we want to play something together, watch a movie together, chill, have discussions, go for a walk, I don't know, run around naked, whatever we want to do.
Yeah.
So,
It's funny you say that because I have a friend, Caleb Nelson is his name, and he has a podcast called Naked Sunday. And it's a
mm,
personal development podcast. And I was like, where did Naked Sunday come from? Why did you name it that? And he's like, well, my wife and I have a ritual every single Sunday where we literally remove all inhibitions and we are naked for the entire day. And I was like, are you going out in the public? He's like, no, like we're in the house, we're just doing our thing in the house, but we're naked because it's hard to be angry at each other. It's hard to be frustrated at each other if we're just walking around, sitting on the couch naked, just like a blob sitting there. Like it's hard to be anything but loving. You lose all judgment in those moments. You become more of you. And I'm like, wow, that's a beautiful thing. I never thought about it that way.
well, luckily they don't have post coming on Sunday then for them to open the door.
Exactly,
That's the fun
exactly.
there.
I'm gonna have to tag him so we can see that I talked about him. But it's we talked about so much that is so powerful for anyone in a relationship, even for those who aren't in one and want one, because now you can write down what you want. You can be intentional about what you want. Let's talk specifically about Better Topics now, the game.
Yes.
Okay. I had never played a relationship card game until
You will
I
never find
ordered this.
anything like it anywhere, because that's one of the main reasons why we created it. We couldn't find anything like that for us. And we were quite frustrated because whatever so-called card game for couples we found, they had a lot of one-off questions, and most of them didn't even make sense to us. We were
Wow.
together for a few months at that point, I think, when we started playing these types of games. And there were questions: what's your favorite color? What's your favorite ice cream? And I'm like, listen, we've been together for a few months. If you
Yeah.
don't know how much I love chocolate by this point, we have such a big problem that no amount of cards or games can help us out. Like, it's
Yeah.
so, we were like, yes, but these don't really help the relationship too much. Like, you might ask them once, let's say a few of them that would make sense to your relationship, but that's it. What then? Once you've done with them, what do? You just like put them aside, throw them away, give them away, or whatever, because it wasn't anything to play with. And both me and my husband, we love board games so much. We have so many at the house. And that's when we actually had this idea: what if we create our own? How would that even look like? So we've basically included all our favorite elements from other games.
Yeah.
So we have the luck element, which is my personal favorite one. So every time we play anything with dice or anything based on pure luck, I will definitely win hands down because I'm the relaxed one. I'm going to laugh about it and my husband will get frustrated.
Yeah.
And that depends on what type of cards you're dealt, with better topics. And then we have the strategy element to it, which is my husband's favorite. He can strategize and think of which question goes with which modifier, how to ask, which one is first, which one is second, how to
Mhm.
combine them, because whoever gets rid of their cards first, that's the winner of the game.
Yeah.
And then we have the rewards, which is this is something that we both like, again, because you get to do something fun either for each other or together with your partner. So after you had those much needed important conversations with your partner, you also get to do something together, not just to leave things at a conversation level.
And
And
the funny
also we
thing about
want
the reward is, like, not to interrupt you, but I think it's important to say there really is there's no loser in this game, because
exactly,
even
yes.
if my wife wins, I experience the joy of giving when I'm able to give her the Fujifilm camera, or
Hmm.
bring her out to a date night, or a massage, or whatever it might be. Like, there's only winners in this game, but it does incorporate that idea of winning, which is super cool. But both people really win, and I think even the giver might feel better. The one who
Exactly.
has to fulfill the reward might actually be the true winner, because it's giving when we truly experience the most joy.
That too. And also we as humans, we tend to find more joy when we actually help others be happy.
Mm,
And you can hear this over and over again, especially from entrepreneurs that started a business that actually helps people.
mhm.
And that is their main drive when they see that other people are happy with their product, service, or anything. And they do, like, they have all these improvements in their lives. And this is the same with me as well. I never thought we were going to reach so many people with better topics as we have, and literally everywhere in the world, which is amazing to see.
Wow.
But when I get these amazing feedbacks from people like yours as well, that, oh my god, the questions were interesting, we had this interesting conversation, that
Mhm.
just gives me so much joy that many times I'm like, even if I would make literally no money at all, I would still keep doing this because this
Yeah.
is so amazing. I get to help people everywhere, around the world, to have great relationships. And this also came from a desire that we had of moving away and helping couples move away from the we need to talk type of conversation to let's have fun and let's
Yeah.
just discuss things, like in a game setting. Because when we are playing a game and we are more relaxed, we tend to be more honest and open as well,
Yep.
with our answers. So instead of, I don't want to talk about it, it's been a long day, I am tired, let's just play a game, this.
Yeah.
And the full mentality and the setup, the energy that comes to the conversation changes as well, because it's
Yes.
a game, it's light, it's fun. And because even today, even now, we've been together, for over 4 years, married 4 years now. And if my husband would come to me now and I would say we need to talk, instantly my defenses would go up. I'd be thinking, what have I done, what has gone wrong,
Yeah.
how can I sort this out, what are we going to do, are we going to end up in an argument? Those are my first thoughts. Even
Yes.
now, even after all these years, we know our communication is great, but still, I have this instinct basically of self-defense, which most of us have, where I'm like, what did I do?
Mhm.
Why do we need to talk? Like that
Yeah.
type of thing.
This gives you a
And
reason to have those important conversations.
exactly, but when is we need to talk, that's not productive really, because
Yeah.
at least one of the people in that conversation will be defensive and not actually listen to what is said and what is important and what the other partner tries to say. So that's why we're coming here to help couples with a game to actually have those conversations and play and have fun together. Because working on your relationship doesn't have to be tedious as it used to be, ages ago. It can be fun. And this is, and interestingly enough, many therapists and couple coaches as well use our game because it helps partners open up.
Yeah.
So even if someone thinks like, oh my god, yes, but my partner is not really willing to talk about things, or these questions are too deep, some of them might be, I always encourage them to get the game and take out those questions that they consider to be too difficult for their partner,
Mm-hmm. And
because we
work
have
your
a
way
lot of
there.
lighter questions as well, and then start from there. You
Yeah.
start playing it, you start getting your partner into the habit of opening up, having the conversations, and once you get them on that road, then you can introduce the more difficult ones one by one, and then they get used to answering those as well. So it's not necessarily something that you have to throw people into the deep end with, but you can also take it step by step. It just depends to know your partner, yourself as well, how willing you are to open up, how willing they are to open up, and then just take it from there. But if if anyone who listens to us does this with their partner, I can guarantee them they will see so massive improvements with this,
Oh yeah.
because it's not possible for someone to be in a relationship with someone else that they care about and not take on board what they are telling them, especially when did you need me most last week, and this is my favorite question, and I
Yeah.
wasn't there, you know or when did you need more space and I didn't give it to you, you know
And the questions are powerful too because you can repeat questions, but it's always a different answer when you repeat the question.
Exactly. Yes. Yes. This is again where our game is very different from others, because the questions are repeatable. You can ask them all the time, but the answers will always change.
Yeah.
Whatever you go through every week changes, even if there might be some similar situations. And by asking these questions regularly, you get to understand exactly where are the points when your partner needs you most, what are the points when they need you less, what are the points that annoys them very much and you didn't realize before. So you can actually navigate this and support them, and maybe even just give them space when they need that. But after a while, you get to see the patterns, and you can recognize those situations coming up. So you know exactly what to do without your partner having to always ask or always be frustrated because you're not doing whatever they would expect you to do. Now, bear in mind, we still have to have the conversations because we cannot guess what's going in our partner's brain as well as they cannot guess what's in ours.
Hmm.
But by asking these questions regularly, you get to have an insight into how they act. And the thing is, even if you've been with your partner for years, it's still helping you find out new things.
Yeah.
So for example, we had this feedback from this amazing couple who supported us because we've started when we launched Better Topics, we launched it through a Kickstarter campaign, and they said they'll support us because they know us as friends, and they will just try it out for us. And I asked them, like, look, once you get the game, would you mind just playing it once or twice so I can get some feedback, even maybe about the questions, the quality of the cards or anything like that. So they played, and the guy warned me. He was like, listen, we've been together for over 30 years, married 32. We're okay. At the relationship level, we're good friends. Everything is perfect. I was like, okay, can you just play it and then let me know? And they played, and the feedback I've got was so amazing because he said, listen, we've been married for 32 years and we do have quite a good communication. Like, we talk about things, problems, everything. Still, this game brought up some very interesting discussions with them and helped them look at things from a different perspective, one that they never thought of looking at before. No?
Yeah.
And this just brought them even closer, even after 32 years of being together when they thought they already knew everything.
Exactly. Yeah, I think
So,
this is for anyone in any phase of their relationship. And I know when people go to the website, where I'll ask you in a second where the best place for people to find it is, because I know it's many places. I think we got it off Amazon, but you have your website as well. But
mhm.
you can get the card game and just play the card game. Or on the website, there are options for different membership tiers as well that people can check out. Just,
Yes.
briefly, what are people getting when they invest in one of the different membership tiers?
So, just to explain this a bit better, for people to understand, we have the physical card game, which you showed very nicely. Thank you. We also have the Better Topics app. And with the app, you have 3 different membership levels. You have silver, gold, and platinum, and they're super affordable. Like, we literally tried our best to make them as affordable as we could. The silver one is about $19 a year, and the platinum is about 70 something, $80 a year. So
Yeah.
it's basically around a coffee a month ish,
Yep.
depending which membership you're going with. And this is basically just to keep it, running and going, and so more and more people can access it. There are many different benefits, that people can read about on our website. But one of the main ones is, and one of my favorites is, that they get to have weekly secret challenges. So each partner gets to choose out of 3 weekly secret challenges which one they want to do, and these challenges change every week. So they won't be the same ones. And once you chose which one you want to do, you obviously have to do it. It's like a surprise you have to do for your partner. Now, bear in mind, all of these are very doable by anyone. It's not, go and take them on a I don't know, cruise surprise or anything crazy like that. That not everyone can afford it, to be honest, especially in this day and age. But it's always something small but significant. Because again, it's about the small regular things that you do for your partner and with them, instead of the one-off, one time a year type of big surprises. Those are great too, but a relationship is not kept up by those. So they have these weekly 6 challenges, and they have to do them, and they have to take a picture, because the app will ask their partner to confirm if the challenge has been done or not. And then obviously, if it has been done, they get more points. If not, then no points. And right now, with the points, the more they play, the more questions they answer, and the more challenges they do, they get the different extension decks that we have right now. So in the main deck that you showed, we have few questions from various categories, but we also have extensions with specific questions on specific categories like intimacy or parenting, or for new couples, even past stories, if you want to delve a bit more in that. And we have one which is called which one. So it's which one of us was more likely to do something or another over the past week, and that type of questions. So, they get to get those. And once we get to open the marketplace up, they will get real life rewards with the in-app points. So anything from courses for couples, coaching for couples, therapy sessions or even discounts for holidays for couples.
That's great. I love that. I mean, there's something here for everyone, for as deep as you want to take it. And you can start with the deck, and then you can get the app, and you can figure out what that looks like for you. But I absolutely love it. And I'm going to have links in the description, guys, where you can check out all the different things that we're talking about right now. If you're watching it live, they'll be in the comments. And Diana, I've got a feeling some people are going to want to follow you after this conversation, because they're like, I need more of this energy in my life. Where is the best place for people to follow you personally?
So we are literally on every social media platform. It's keeping me quite busy, but I'm there. So we are on YouTube. We have our own YouTube channel, Better Topics. We are on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, everywhere at Better Topics and Better Topics Official. And also, for those who want to find out more about the game, how to get it, where to get it, they can go to our website, which is bettertopics.com. And those who want to get it on Amazon, we do have it on Amazon for UK, US, and Australia as well.
Incredible. Links are in the description, guys, to all the different platforms and the website. And Diana, this has been a really energetic and valuable conversation that's gone in tons of different directions. So I thank you for being on the show. And again, congratulations on your new home.
Thank you so much again for having me today. I had such a blast being here.
Right back at you. I love this conversation because there's something in it for everyone. Whether you're in a relationship and you've been together for 1 year, 5 years, 30 years, like Diana was just talking about, there's something for you in this conversation, and there's something for you with the Better Topics game itself. Again, I'm not getting paid to talk about this, right? I'm simply sharing it because we enjoyed playing it. We enjoyed the questions that it asked, and we understand that people need help with their relationships. A relationship is the most important aspect of our life, aside from our own personal health, physical fitness, all those things. And the more that we nurture ourselves and the relationship in our life with our significant other, the more beautiful our life will be. So again, links are in the description to everything we talked about. I hope you took a ton away from the show. Share it with one other person who could use this information, whether they're in a relationship or they're looking for one. And thank you for watching. Until we talk again next time, continue to be better.